Today we are going to examine how to make your paper conform to the MLA format. Formats like MLA or APA help to keep citation styles uniform, making proper annotation much easier. Not citing sources properly is a recipe for disaster in academic circles. So these formats are to help you avoid mistakes by showing you exactly how to write them out. There are some easy to remember basics that will apply to all of your MLA style papers. The first word in each paragraph should be indented 1/2 inch. So, be ready to give your tab key a workout. Pick a standard font. No Comic Sans. Keep it at 12 points. No bumping it up to make the paper look longer. But you do get to double space the whole paper, even your works cited page. And always make sure to leave a space after any type of punctuation mark. Of course, if your instructor says to do something differently, then defer to their request. At the very top of your first page, you need to have the full MLA header. This is going to keep all of your important information in one place, so your paper is easier to identify. When you have all of the info inserted, it should look something like this. Your name should be 1 inch from the top of the page, and remember to double space everything. The running head is going to be placed in the top right corner of the paper. This should include your name and the page number divided by a single space. No hyphens or colons, no putting page or PG. The running head typically starts on page 2, so it should say your last name, a space, and the page number. Every paper needs a title, and MLA formatted papers are no different. The title should be centered between the last line of the header and the first sentence of the paper. Titles should have most words in the sentence capitalized, except for articles like and, or, of. So now we are writing the paper, and it comes time to add our first quote from the resource material. An in-text citation should look like this: the last name of the author of the source, followed by the number of the page that the quote appears on. You need to have this on every part of your paper where you are pulling information directly from your research material, whether it is a direct quote or if you are paraphrasing. The closing parentheses should be immediately before the final punctuation mark of the sentence. When you're using a quote that makes up a large amount of text, for instance, 4 lines of prose and 3 lines of verse, the text needs to be laid out as a block quote. So you will hit enter, indent 1/2 inch with the spacebar, still double spaced, and with your in-text citations coming at the very end after the closing punctuation mark. So a block quote should look like this. The most important aspect of an MLA paper, and the one that trips people up the most, is the works cited page. Uniform styles of citation is the main reason that formatting styles exist, so it is the part you need to focus on the most. The works cited page needs to start on its own separate page and to be labeled clearly. It has the same margins, headers, double spacing, and title structure. Both words works and cited need to be capitalized and centered. The first line of the citation gets spaced out normally, but each additional line of text needs to be let off with a hanging indent. This is different from a standard indent since it is supposed to be half the size. So instead of hitting tab, you need to hit the spacebar X amount of times. Your sources should be alphabetized. When you're writing a citation for an online source, you need to include the link to the source. But you can't just copy and paste the link and wash your hands of the situation. You will first type the last name and the first name of the author separated by a comma. The title of the source should be placed in quotation marks with the periods preceding the closing quote. The title of the site your source is from should be in italics, followed by a comma. Then you finally get to include your link. You need to use a DOI, or digital object identifier. If you don't have one, then you can include a URL link, but remember to delete the HTTP. Your link should be the last line of your citation, and remember your hanging indent. If you are a caveman scrawling on an animal hide, you may need to write a citation for a physical book. A standard book citation will have these things in the following order: last name, first name, period. The title of the book in italics, that's the I on the top of your word processor's toolbar, followed by a period. Then list the city where it was published, comma, the name of the publisher, comma, and the publication date, followed by one last period. There can be times when you need to include more information. For instance, if the book is part of a collection, you need to include the name of the collection itself. You may need to include which version or edition your cited book is. Some books get reprinted hundreds of times by different publishers, so a line on page 25 of your book may appear on page 23 of mine. A journal article is cited similarly. After the author's name, remember its last name first. You will have the title of the article in quotes followed by the title of the journal in italics. Then you need to include the volume, issue, and pages for the specific issue of the journal which features your source article. Some programs actually have different MLA templates for you to use. Both Google Docs and Microsoft Word can help you with MLA style.
Thank you for joining us for this Odessa College digital workshop. Workshops are conducted by the Academic Success Workshop. For information on upcoming workshops or to request a topic for a workshop, reach out at lrc@odessa.edu.